Hi friends, it's Vicki Boutin here with this album that I created using Color Kaleidoscope and my junk journal and a whole bunch of mixed media magic, all with my line from American Crafts. I wanted to do a walkthrough, so if you wanted to recreate something using all of those yummy goodies that you have from Color Kaleidoscope, it's been a minute since I've been here, so I'm excited to be back making process videos and ideas for making art for everyone and different mixed media techniques. And I'd love to hear your comments, and if you aren't already subscribing to my channel or liking the videos, please do all of those things so I know that the content I'm sharing is what you're looking for. So I'm excited for you to take a look through the album, and if you have any questions, let me know. So this is a cover. I completed the cover by adhering everything with matte acrylic gel. Just grabbing that so I can show you. So I glued everything on the cover with the matte acrylic gel. All of the pattern on the seam binding was done with art crayon, so with Vicki Boutin art crayons and a stencil brush and a stencil. And then I find that sealing it when you're done with the matte acrylic gel is great for mini books. The other thing I noticed, some of these albums, the binding's coming off. So I didn't do it on the back so that you could see what I was talking about, but I just put some of this underneath there with a foam brush and then put it on top, brayered it, and I find it works great for making sure that all of your covers and your albums, if you don't want the stuff to come off or lift, this is great. And if you don't have matte acrylic gel, the Vicki Boutin one, you can use golden. You can try Mod Podge, but I find it's a little tackier than this. This one doesn't have a lot of stick. So just be conscious of what you're using there. So the butterflies were cut out of the paper. I tapped some watercolor on top, and that's how the cover was created. This is a sticker. The rest are die cuts out of the die cut pack for Color Kaleidoscope. So everything in this album is Color Kaleidoscope, Vicki Boutin junk journal products, and foundation paper. And then some of my mixed media items like the art crayons. This is what they look like in the package. So that's a neutral set. There's 3 different colors that or shades that these come in. The cool, the warm, and the neutral. And then tools like stencil brush. If you're not sure, I'm just reaching across. That's what my stencil brush looks like. I love these because they're nice and sturdy. So let's take a look inside the album. So in here we have different elements that are layered on pieces inside the album. And I'm just going to flip through. This is part of the Foundations paper cover. So when you open the package of Foundations paper, this is the piece that is on the cover, and I use half of it for techniques and the other half as a page in the album, and some stitching, because I find anytime that you're doing anything on vellum or on acrylic that stitching holds it in place. So a lot of these are just straightforward pages with lots of foam squares and no mixed media art on it, so just a traditional scrapbook page in the mini book. These are cut out of the heart paper from the Color Kaleidoscope. You have pockets in this album, so I put the base down and then you can put your different pieces inside the pocket. Mixed media on the back, so some of these, this one is a watercolor page that was scored and folded over to create the pocket, and then I just stenciled the gold glaze on the back. And some watercolor kissing, and this is another one. These pages come in the junk journal watercolor set, so they are interactive pages in the set. This page here, I kissed the background with some yellow art crayon watercolor, stenciled with some orange watercolor, then placed a stencil on top and just did a little bit of gold glaze with a palette knife through the stencil. Stitched these hearts because I find that then you can lift them. I love that technique. So that's fun there. And then these are interactive pages with just a mat inside. And then layered embellishments on top. And then here is just stencil kissing, where you make your watercolor, you press a stencil into it, and then you press it down onto your medium, and then layered embellishment on top. And then you have pages that fold out, so you have lots of real estate in your mini album. So this is just all highlighting the Color Kaleidoscope, my Color Kaleidoscope release with American Crafts. Then you have little interactive bits like this. So for some of you that ordered this kit, it's all sold out now, but you guys might have a lot of this product at home so you can make one of these albums yourself. I am going to be doing this with every one of my product releases moving forward, is just putting a highlighted or a mini book that highlights all of the pretty papers and products that come in the release. So with a page like this, with this diagonal pockets, I cut it from a square and then just took an X-Acto knife or put it on your paper trimmer on an angle and cut it on an angle, and then flip the other piece so that you have the two pieces from one square. And then make sure your adhesive just goes on the sides and bottom, and then you have pockets, interactive bits, a little bit of Kiss watercolor up there. There here too is just layering embellishments. Make sure you glue down all stickers and all of the chipboard, because I find that the adhesive doesn't last forever, and I just back up all my stickers, everything with extra adhesive, and then I'm not going to run into any problems. This page here is 2 of the pages out of the binder put together out of the junk journal, and then I made a pocket. So then just put in a piece of foundations paper in the top. So just to give you an idea there, I love that. And then you have another page with just embellishments. It's the back of the pocket page. These are 2 4x6 cards that I just made into side pockets. So all you have to do there is adhere the back and the bottom, and you have 2 little cards that are now side pockets. And then again, just kissed it with watercolor and dry stenciled the art crayon with the stencil. So that's fun. Another just basic page, just did a little bit of watercolor painting inside the label that's already on these journal pages for the junk journal. This is just a ring, so you just take a red Solo cup or a cup that you dip into watercolor and you kiss it into the edges. Easy way to add some mixed media. And then you have another page that is a top flap page. These come in the watercolor mixed media inserts for your junk journal. So, and then the bottom, I love this technique. That is the gold glaze. So Vicki Boutin gold glaze. I'm going to grab one, sorry, out of my studio over here. These are my glazes. So it's the gold glaze that I just dry stenciled onto the bottom of the page. And then these are cut out of the butterfly paper, Take Flight, and I just drip some watercolor on them. So I love naked papers that we can customize. So that's that. This is a vellum pocket. So it's the iridescent vellum, the foiled vellum that I just created into pocket, and then I stitched because it's hard to figure out adhesive that'll work with vellum. And then you have a kissed watercolor page on foundations paper. Just some pretty embellishments, lots of foam squares for some of these pages. Here's another vellum page, and I just took 2 pieces of the pages that come inside of the junk journal and created this vellum page. So the binding holes are there, and then it's just sandwiched between. This is watercolor stamping. So all you do is create your watercolor out of a pink art crayon, and then load stamp into the watercolor and stamp. And then it's kissed in the background, and then I painted it with yellow inside of the stamped images. Top flap. When you're doing these, my binding, I use about 1/4, and then what happens, like it's a 1/4 inch scored line, and then I back it with 1/8 inch double-sided tape. And when you're doing those, just make sure that you stick the 2 pages together, fold it behind, and adhere it to the front of the page so you have really nice clean flaps when you're doing your interactive bits. Some more watercolor stamping with yellow and orange. But look how pretty, super easy. The more water that's in the watercolor, the more loose the stamped images are, the drier it is, the more detailed. You can also color right on top of the stamp, mist it with water, and stamp them. And then again, just some more paper. This is offset stenciling again with the gold glaze. So just a little bit of gold glaze down on your work surface, pick it up with the stencil brush, and through the stencil. The lighter pieces that are on this pocket are just more water. It's more diluted. Just be careful it doesn't bleed underneath your stencil. And then you have, again, 2 double pockets that were cut out of the watercolor inserts for your junk journal. more of the hearts that are cut out, and then I just adhered some with foam square and some are flat. A little interactive piece where you just score it and you have lots of extra real estate for photos and journaling. And here is a double and bottom flap, again scoring the 1/4 inch and then just putting your pieces down. I put a mat from the second ephemera pack in the Color Kaleidoscope line. Foam square your embellishments. And then we have, sorry, it's sticking to the page. We have the flip out here that you just have like a zigzag fold. And then again, a 1/4 inch flap with 1/8 inch double-sided tape. And then your embellishments here, just some watercolor drops with the yellow art crayon. More of the stamping with a cup. Here I just did a two-tone with the iridescent glaze. So I actually mixed pink art crayon and yellow art crayon with iridescent glaze. Remember, Happy Crush Unicorn Tears. And then just loaded it, put the yellow on one side of my craft mat, the pink on the other side, picked it up with my palette knife, and then just went through a circle stencil. And then you get the two-tone textured bit, and it is a top flap. Again, this is included. I didn't create that. It's already done for you with your watercolor bits. A side pocket, again, just taking 2 pages and attaching them together, leaving the side open. And then you have your insert for a side pocket. And then we have a bottom pocket, just taking a longer strip, scoring, and then you have another pocket. This is a double flap where I've just gone and done some kissing with watered down gold glaze. You can hear my son in the background, just kind of ignore it. It's a reality of being at home with teenagers, right? And that top flap is a side pocket. So again, you just create the flap, make your 1/4 inch score on the other side, adhere them together, and then adhere it to the page. I'm hoping you can see that. And then you have that double flap with the side pocket. And then we have, this is Kissed watercolor that I've added some iridescent glaze to the watercolor. This here, because it's all water soluble, just added some water, and then also when it was dry, stenciled it with a palette knife. And then added lots of embellishments with the chipboard and embellishment packs. Here again, you have a sheet of vellum that was attached and sewn onto the background. And then this one is another longer interactive bit. So just score, fold back, and fold this the other way and attach it to your page. And then that is the last page of the album, is a little watercolor flap. So all we have here is just 3 pieces that were attached together, not folded back, and just adhered to the front. So that's it, a little walkthrough of the Vicki Boutin Color Kaleidoscope Junk Journal using Color Kaleidoscope Release and using the Vicki Boutin Junk Journal and lots of my fun products that go with that. So you will never regret these purchases. I find that this stuff has multi-use, and that's why I make it that way, so you get lots of bang for your buck. So just wanted to walk through for the ladies who purchased the kit, or if you have a lot of this Color Kaleidoscope at home or another release that you want to use, you can make yourself a fun interactive album. So thanks for that, guys.